Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And welcome everyone to Talking Fishing, a big show coming your way tonight. Hey. Catch of the week. It's absolutely amazing when, boys, the weather just, it just goes to calm seas, blue skies, and people come out. You're going to see some cracker catch of the weeks very, very shortly. Product of the week, Adam's going to show you the ideal trout bait rig. We've got mailbag, we've got hotspots, so much fisheries news. Trout season opens this weekend. It's a big week of fishing, I tell you what, boys. And the blue skies have come at the right time. Spring is in the air.
I know. It feels as though it's changed. And a bit of hype around trout opening, I must say. Even noticing it through the shops a little bit, it's been pretty good.
Especially with a few releases going on, a bit of news coming up.
A few releases, Trelly. I'll tell you what, we are going to announce in Fisheries News just how many trout are going to be stocked for the trout opening this weekend, but it is going to be big. Up at Eildon, a big festival. Ballarat, a big festival. Shepparton, a big festival.
We're just going to have one just for a second.
You have a festival every weekend.
Every weekend, get it organised. Yeah, that's right.
And can you replay the story this morning? Because while we say spring's in the air, right? What happened to your lovely wife, Danny, when she got into the car this morning and turned the ignition on?
Well, I live in sunny Cranbourne, and my wife went to leave early this morning to go to the gym, but last night when she turned the car off, she left the windscreen wipers on. So it left them on. So she's
in your car off, leave them on.
Well, they're turned on the switch. So when you turn your key on,
so when you get them on, they go on.
Right. So she started the car this morning,
slow and Shepparton,
and the rear windscreen wiper tried to go, but it was frozen solid to the back window and snapped off.
Oh, it snapped off.
It was a bit cold in Cranbourne this morning.
Good work.
Trelly, have you had the frosts up in Shepparton?
Yeah, we have actually. A couple of frosts has been nice and chilly, but you're getting those really, those really nice warm days, because it's cool in the morning. I think it was about 18 degrees there a couple of days. On Sunday, it was a lovely weekend, beautiful weekend to be out.
Do you have any hype in Shepparton about trout season opening?
We do. We do have a little bit of a hype as far as the trout season. You got those guys who just chase trout, or they're sort of like blokes who chase quail during the quail season. So they're all out, ready to go.
Because it's not only the opening of trout season, but it's also the closing of Murray cod season, isn't it?
Except for Eildon, that's right, exactly.
What day's closing? 1st of September?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. So it coincides. So, do you have an exact date, and question without notice, because it is a temperamental time of year. When do you plant your tomato seedlings?
Mary? She's out there, I think.
He's got no idea. I've got a dilemma at home, I tell you. When do you plant it? Because if you plant them too early, the frosts get to them. And if you plant them too late, you won't get them in time for Christmas.
So it must be about now.
Anyone that's watching can get on our social media. But I want to know, when is the right time to plant your tomato seedlings? Because you can go too early. But anyway, folks, let's have a look at what's being caught by the people at home. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, brought to you by Shimano, providing reliable, trustworthy, quality fishing gear for your enjoyment.
Now, last week's hotspot, boys, the capital of calamari in Western Port, Trelly.
How'd it go?
No, tell me what it is.
Oh, the capital of calamari, Western Port.
In Western Port,
was the Tyre Bank.
Nice.
After 341 shows or so, or whatever, 100 that you actually know. You actually know what's going on. No, I'm impressed.
In my brain.
That's all good. Have a look at this. Lee Evans got out on the Tyre Bank, and some cracking calamari, boys, out there.
Glorious weather.
Absolutely.
Good calamari.
Yeah.
That would have gone home for a feed for sure.
It's a great time of year. Now, we talked about early season snapper. It always happens. Full moon.
Starting.
The calm days. And people do go out, and it's probably a 1 in 100 catch for 100 boats. One may get it. But Dean Tolra, have a look. A beautiful pair. He got two. 5.5 and 6.8 kilo up the top end of Western Port. They are cracking fishing in.
They always seem to be big around this early season, don't they? That's something that's not unusual. That's really good snapper. We'll see with plenty more.
The other thing I would say
is... shirt too, Dean.
The other thing I'd say is that Western Port dominates.
It
early.
does. Yeah, definitely.
You know, and last year it tapered off in Port Phillip, but earlier on, and have a look at this. Now, this isn't the top end.
No,
Ads.
this was an unusual one.
This is off reel. Jake Dunbar got a 7.7 kilo off reel. I mean, that's a fresh fish, and it's in.
That's right, and that's unusual for this time of year because the top end does typically fire first.
Yep.
But Jake, you'll take that any day of the week. Doesn't matter where you are.
Nice day to be on the water too.
Yeah. The next one, I'll tell you what, Leah Lambreri from the Northern Metro Angling Club, and I probably got that wrong. And I've probably got her surname wrong too because I get it all wrong tonight. But anyway, Leah, she just goes, oh yeah, this Ben got one in Western Port. Yeah, he won't tell us where, but Ben Scoiler, he got a 6.2 kilo snapper in Western Port apparently. Somewhere in Western Port, Leah.
Nice fish.
Anyway,
I
thanks
reckon
for all the details.
I reckon that's a resident fish.
It's dark, isn't it?
With his dark nose.
Yeah.
He's been hanging around all. He's been hanging around all winter, I reckon.
Yeah, it could be.
Just coming out to play.
Ads, you can tell us the next one.
Kane Zienkiewicz. That's what I'm rolling with.
Oh, well done.
I apologise, Kane, if I haven't nailed that, but I tell you what, that gummy shark, not too bad at all.
That's a lovely off Stony Point.
Stony,
Yeah, very
nice. Braving the cold. See, they're not warm nights yet.
No. Must have been that cold. He didn't have his beard tucked in.
I'll tell you what, if you want a chance at a gummy shark, there is no one better to go fishing with than Think Big Charters, and Sean Fertier is the captain.
Oh, yeah, he knows what's
And he knows what's going on. And as soon as that calm weather starts, because quite honestly, it's been very tough for the charter guys. No one can get out, let alone the charter guys. But Sean gets out there and actually has a go and fully booked in this calm weather. Have a look at this for a gummy shark. Rob Coylett went out with Sean, and that was not the only gummy on the trip, mind you, but it was the best pick. I had to pick one out of many. And seriously, you want your chance to catch a big gummy, jump on board Think Big Charters, because you can't beat Sean Fertier for that. So, well done, Sean.
Nice fish.
Ads, I'm going to throw all the hard names to you. So, the salmon are running at Gunnamatta like you wouldn't believe, boys. And
Fareed Quasazada.
Whoa.
Yeah, again, Fareed, I apologise.
No, you've done well.
I've had a crack.
There's some cracking salmon there.
Yeah, a really good season on the back beaches, which we haven't had for a long time. So that's exciting to the point where I think it's snuck under the radar a little bit. To be honest,
it's been pretty popular down there, Geelong way, but it's been really good.
I would have said all those surf beaches along the back of Geelong, like Jan Juck and Lawn, places like that, are all just firing at the moment. As is the Peninsula, as is Venus Bay and beyond.
Yeah, Venus Bay's been unreal.
Yeah, and the gummy sharks have been really good down off that side
off the beach.
Oh, okay, that's
really
interesting.
Excellent. Yeah, so
now's the time. Is it a full moon?
I think it's just
2 nights.
It was Sunday.
Yeah. Yep. There you go. Let's head over to Port Phillip Bay, which we said always underdone snapper early in the season. Western Port seems to dominate, but Wayne Kelly got out and he got a lovely 7.5 kilo. He said he went out deep.
That's an unusual fish from Paddo from this time of year.
Yeah. 7.5 kilo though. Thank you very much.
Oh, you'll take it any day.
Doesn't look that big. Got a couple of lumps on his head.
Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy, Charlie.
It's chunky.
Sorry, mate.
And I've got to say, let's just set the scene, boys. It is trout season starting at midnight on Friday night. Not that you want to be out there because it'd be damn cold. But Saturday morning you can go and fish legally in any river or stream in Port Phillip Bay, in Victoria. But not close, not too far from Port Phillip Bay is the Devil Bend Reservoir, and Jodie Foster got down there for a lovely rainbow trout. It's full of them at the moment.
It is. And they'll continue to fire.
And they turn on right now. Those spring days, get down there just before sunrise, which, by the way, the days are getting longer, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's noticeable.
So good. If you'd like to send in a pic of your catch of the week, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing pic to info@ifish.com.au.
Yeah, I want to go fishing.
Now, am I right in saying there's no AFL this weekend?
Yeah, that's right.
Do they have this bye?
Bye round. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
A bit
Week
soft,
off before
really?
finals.
Yeah, eh?
Week off before finals.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about trout season opening right throughout the show, and it's pretty damn good what's coming up, but there's no footy, no excuses. Get out and catch yourself a trout. Up next, we're going to give you all the details on fisheries news right after this.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wet a line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing.
Every day's a chance to drift away. Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See you down and tackle world today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing.
Live from the studios of Channel 31 Melbourne, it's now time for some very fishy news.
I'll tell you what, boys, what a massive week of news. There's some big stuff happening, and it's all about trout opening. It's going to be the biggest trout opening that you've ever seen. Let's kick it off with the headline. Free Ballarat Fishing Festival returns this week. The Andrews Labor government will celebrate the opening of the trout season with a free fishing festival on the banks of Lake Windaree in Ballarat this Saturday, the 1st of September. The festival is funded by the Labor government's Target 1 Million plan, which is investing a record $46 million to get more people fishing more often. The festival will include a free tour of the nearby Ballarat Fish Acclimatisation Society's trout hatchery. That's a mouthful on its own, isn't it? And free fishing lessons for the kids with Fish Care, where all the bait and tackle is provided. So if you are heading to Ballarat this weekend, boys, go down to Lake Windaree. There's a big festival.
Make sure you do.
And if you're not, you should be.
Get down there anyway. It's pretty easy to get to. Expert anglers will also be on deck teaching the basics of fishing for trout and redfin. And there will be fly tying demonstrations from Mick Hall and Dave Flenley. Prize draws and raffles, the free children's activities including a jumping castle, face painting and photo booth. Food lovers can watch seafood cooking demonstrations, making smoked trout ceviche,
That sounds a bit
pan-fried fillets and smoked trout and mousse, then enjoy tasting each of the dishes. Now, I mentioned a couple of things there.
Trout-flavoured mousse?
Yeah. But hang on, one back. Mick Hall must be 80 years old.
I know, I was just going to say.
Is
Mick's been up at Thornton for a million years.
Well, he's not there anymore. He lives in Ballarat now.
Yeah, I know, with Rex Hunt up there.
Yeah, but Mick, remember we were doing a radio show?
Yep.
And we rang him by surprise on his 70th birthday.
Yeah.
That must be a while ago.
Feels like a while ago.
Mick Hall.
No offence, Mick, but it feels like a while.
Go to Ballarat just to meet Mick.
You would?
Do it.
I would.
Now, the other thing, boys, is I haven't finished this story, but I just want to, over here, just want to talk about this. It said food lovers can watch seafood cooking demonstrations.
Yep.
Freshwater fish seafood.
Well, it could be.
Well,
It's a good question.
I thought seafood was from the sea.
Well, what would this be called?
Well, lake food.
You're right.
Doesn't have the
too.
same kind of ring to it,
You're
does
right,
it?
but trout, is there a sea-run trout?
I mean, this is a bit like...
is it
No, it's debatable.
Well,
it's a bit like...
Can it be called farm food?
Okay, this is about as good as Georgina, the waitress tonight, in the restaurant we had dinner with, right?
You're right.
Who's a vegetarian but
That's
loves
right.
a bit of fish every
Loves
now and
a
then.
bit of fish, but don't tell her flat partner.
George, hey,
Don't tell her roommate off. Yeah.
don't tell her roommate. Yeah, Georgina
roommate,
says to us at
Georgina.
dinner tonight, she goes, I'm a vegetarian, but I like a bit of fish every now and then. Well, this is like you're going to see seafood demonstrations with fish that aren't from the sea. So anyway, I should finish this off. For more information, including event schedules for the day, visit vfa.vic.gov.au/Ballarat Fish Fest. There you go. Big story, boys.
Not to take it
in
away
Ballarat. Hey?
The
Not
rat.
to take it away from the next bit of news item.
The next one. This year is going to be the biggest ever trout opening on the Goulburn River. There is a lot. I won't read that one because I've got all the dot points here, but this is what's going to happen. On Saturday, the 1st of September, which is this Saturday, over here, between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. at the Eildon Community Centre, the cost is free, doesn't cost you a thing to go to this, there is going to be trophy trout stockings.
That's it.
Now, we'll come to that in a minute, but there's 2,000 huge trout being stocked. The Vic Fish Kids program starts, the first one. Rex Hunt.
Big Rexy.
He will be providing his fishing expertise to everyone who attends. And please note, there are 200 free fishing rods they'll be given out throughout the day via a raffle this year. So it's not the first 200 kids, I don't think, that get there.
Yep.
I think there's some sort of raffle.
Nice.
So kids, I think it's $50 a ticket. So the kids are going to 50. No, I'm only joking.
Yeah, for the
I'm only
free
joking. No, but there is a raffle. Rex is going to be the judge. But that's, Rex. So Rex is the ambassador for Vic Fish Kids.
That's right.
And this is the first of a series because he's going to run them. And we might run that next week because we haven't put all the dates up. But it's the
you
first.
wouldn't have Don Burke doing it, would you?
No, you wouldn't. No, because he was a gardener. Let alone.
Yeah, that's right.
Rex is a fisherman. So put those dot points back up, Kevin. Trade Expo. There's going to be a Trade Expo, which is going to you're going to check out what's new in fishing gear with exhibitions from all aspects of the tackle industry. You have the ability to release trout into Eildon Pondage all day. You can take part in stocking, and there's 1,000 rainbow trout scheduled to be released on the day, so you can take part of it.
So you can actually help release fish into these systems.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
What's
and
next?
if you've never seen it before, have a look.
Yeah.
Snobs Creek Hatchery Tours, a unique opportunity to take a tour of the site where over 1 million fish are produced annually. Now, that's Steve Vidler's department. Tours depart from the Eildon Community Centre every hour from 10:30 a.m.
So if you want to have a look at Victoria's hatchery, over 1 million fish produced,
and if you haven't, definitely have a look at that.
There's guided fishing on Eildon Pondage. Fish for trout with expert guidance. Bait and tackle is provided, and you can register at the Eildon Community Centre. So go up a little bit early and register at the Eildon Community Centre. Ads?
Yeah, there is also tuition and advice. So that kind of goes hand in hand with the guided fishing on Eildon Pondage, but experts were there to teach you how to catch trout, redfin, and the native species that inhabit the surrounding waters. So that's a good one because we've seen how many native fish have been stocked over the last 10 years now. Now you can learn how to catch them.
There's also fishing workshops. You can sharpen. Oh, did I say that? You said that? No, I said that. Fishing workshops sharpen your lure and fly casting skills, or learn the right knot for the right situation. Cooking demonstrations. So they're doing well with this.
Yeah, a bit of trout mousse, I reckon.
Yeah, cook. Well, that's what it said.
Oh, well, just saying.
I never met a mousse that smelt like trout, but
no.
What about mousse flavoured trout?
Or mousse flavoured trout.
You could do that. There's prize draws. There's fun kids for stuff like jumping castles, face painting, balloon tying, and more.
Fish.
And then, if you want to hang around, there's fireworks at 7 p.m. on the Eildon Pondage. So
pretty big time.
This is a really big thing. And it's all about trout season opens in rivers and streams in Victoria from Friday, 31st of October, midnight, which is actually Saturday morning, 1 minute later.
31st of August.
Oh, what did I say?
October. It's in August, not October.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Which is
You'll
this
be late.
weekend.
Yeah. Now, boys.
Yep.
Even bigger news, because I mentioned that earlier on. Oh, this is big.
Can't get any
this is-
bigger.
No.
This is
Drum
good.
roll. Yep.
Yeah, this is good. I like this
Yep.
one.
This is a big.
This is where it's at.
What is going on is that 2,000 massive rainbow trout are going to be stocked at 11 sites for trout opening. Some of these fish up to 4 kilos. This is going to be unbelievable. We've got a map. We're going to show you the map. These fish have a combined weight of 7 tonnes, and it's the biggest ever 24-hour stocking event in fisheries history.
Sure, we get Guinness World Records now for that.
Absolutely. Now have a look at the map, boys. Let's start to the left of screen for the people at home. Molesworth Caravan Park is getting 150 trout.
Yep.
Alexandra Bridge. What does that say? 250?
150.
Oh, 150.
Yeah,
My eyes are a
150.
bit. What's the next one?
Breakaway Bridge is also getting 150.
Yep.
Then we have McMartin's Lane getting 100.
Yep.
Gilmore's Bridge, 150. Then Thornton Beach, 250. So that's going to be a cracker. A lot of fish going in there. Eildon Waters, 100. Walnut Reserve is getting 200. Point Hill Reserve getting 50. And Blue Gums getting 200. And then the Eildon Pondage, I can't quite see what that
500.
is. 500.
Yeah.
That's getting a hell of a lot of big trout to 4 keggers as well.
Yep.
So get amongst that.
Someone at Point Hill Reserve did the wrong thing, didn't they? Only getting 50.
Yeah, no.
Hey?
Yeah, they must have got their application in late.
They're going to carry him in a bucket down there. The rest of them get delivered by truck.
right.
And the 50 is probably just the ones that swim down from Blue Gums or something.
Yeah. In all seriousness, that is massive news that 2,000 trout weighing up to 4 kilos, total weight 7 tonnes, will be stocked in Eildon Pondage and the Goulburn River downstream from Eildon Pondage for Saturday, and that is just awesome news. Now, out of that 2,000, there's going to be 1,000 trout stocked in the morning.
Oh, okay.
So that, which people can go and help.
Go and help. Yep.
I don't know if that's part of the 2,000 or if it's an additional.
Or it's
what if they're rainbow or browns?
Rainbows.
Because actually, rainbows disperse really quickly.
Yep.
Browns sort of sit around. Oh yeah, what's going on, man? You know, here we are. But the rainbows
You
are
do
actually
a good imitation of a brown trout.
Nailed it, I reckon.
So, yeah, rainbows are like you put them in the water and they're like, hey, where are we?
They're ready to go.
Yeah,
they're ready to eat straight up.
So yeah, that's good. Great
there
stuff.
you go. So a massive launch of trout season, and if you want to have a look at what one of those trout will look like, I think we've got an image up here. This is one of the boys from Snobs Creek.
Oh,
he's in the pondage there.
It's a beautiful looking fish too.
They're 10-pounders, like 4 kilos on the old scale is 10-pounders. So you know when you crack a beer after a barrometer or a barrel, you get a 10-pound.
You're cracking something after catching a 10-pound
exactly
rainbow trout. I mean that's a cracking fish, isn't it?
It's a ripper.
Yeah,
it is.
A few of them will be caught, I reckon.
Oh yeah.
Tell you what.
Take the pellets.
Oh well, we're going to go through.
Don't you worry, I'll show you
the pellets out. That's because they've been fed in the pondage.
Don't worry, coming up in Adam's little segment, he'll be talking about how to.
I'll show you how to catch those big bad boys.
Tackle will have all the tips. So he's got spare parts too. You probably try and sell an old wiper blade to catch.
Well, I reckon Gary might be open all weekend. So, but he's certainly there. If you haven't got your bait or you haven't got all your gear, get up to.
Does a great report too, Gary Constantine.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming up next, product of the week. Adam's going to show you the ideal trout bait rig. See you soon on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
Good morning, spotters. Stephanie speaking.
Product of the week, brought to you by Tackle World.
Talking Fishing.
And welcome back to Talking Fishing. Now it's all about the trout. It is trout opening this weekend, a massive launch of the trout season up at Eildon
and
along the Goulburn River and Ballarat, boys.
And Ballarat.
But Ads, a lot of people are going, what's the technique for this weekend?
Yeah, that's it.
And you're going to show us the number one trout rig.
I'm going to show you the number one bait fishing rig to give you the advantage over everyone else, because there's going to be a lot of people along the banks of the Goulburn River and Eildon getting amongst the trout opening. So what we're going to do is show you, I'm not going to say it's the easiest way, but it's actually not as complicated as it seems. It is a little bit of a float rig with a different Strelly.
Yes.
I think you're going to like this one. I'll start from the top because there's a little bit
at the float.
There's a little bit going on.
Right at the start.
And then we'll show you right at the end. Start with a simple bubble float. They've got to be quick in these cameras, I tell you. Simple little bubble float. They're the ones that you squeeze the side of them, let a little bit of water in just to keep the buoyancy and also give you a little bit of casting distance. Though there's a little bit going on here to give you some castability anyway. That is down to a sliding clip, and attached to that is your little Optia light that we spoke about last week.
Oh, no way.
So that's your little water activated
You're going to put one of those lights in every rig you do from now on?
I am, because they are that good. That is stopped by a ledger stop. So it doesn't interfere with your
What's a ledger
rig.
stop?
It's literally, your line runs through a tiny little sleeve. It's probably hard to show you because it's so small.
Yeah, I know.
Runs through a little sleeve and you literally just put the wedge into it. And so we can slide that to any distance we want on that bit of line. That goes down to a dropper, which has a number 6 bait holder hook on it, because that's where you're going to put your scrubby. You can either load that up with 5 or 6 A1 bait worms trelly, or you can just put a big dirty scrubby on there and let it do its thing.
Hang.
Just let him waft around up there. You've got the light going on above
People
it.
at home might be saying, what's the distinctive feature of a bait holder hook?
It's got barbs on the shank. So it holds the bait on there really, really well. So float, light, first dropper with a number 6 bait holder hook on it. That's going to be your worm. That's where you're going to put your worm. So your big scrubby. Now we get down to the business end trolley.
Oh, golly.
Jeez.
This right here is the secret weapon. So that is a feeder boom On the top of that is another little clip which you attach a burley cage to. That is weighted, so that gives you the weight to cast the rig.
Yeah.
Fill that with the craziest burley concoction that you can think of, but I would recommend anything with aniseed in it. So a little bit of aniseed.
So what, you put the pellets or something in it?
No, you mix, a pollard burley's best, so the Stimulate pollard burley. So the lid comes off.
Yeah.
That's not rocket science.
Okay. Oh, well, you got to have fingernails. See, I'll bite my fingernails. So.
Lid comes off, fill that through with a pollard burley, mixed with a little bit of aniseed and maggots. That is the key.
Maggots?
The maggots are the key.
Oh, yeah.
So mix maggots into the burley, load that chocker block. Now that needs to be packed quite tightly because it'll slowly dissolve out through the holes of the cage.
Don't be cheating and hanging any sheep's heads above the river the week before and let the maggot straw.
That's right. This has a big plastic arm on it which keeps the rest of your rig away from the burley cage so it doesn't get tangled.
Yeah.
That's down to a little swivel. And then you've got your extra little bit of leader with a small number 10 or number 12 octopus hook, and that's where you'll put either your maggots, or if you're really not interested in mucking around with the maggots, you can put a little bit of power bait on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
The power bait,
mealworms.
Mealworms.
Yeah.
The power bait, try white for this rig. Because you're going to have maggots coming out of your burley down to a bit of power bait. So the entire rig looks as so. It sits exactly like that. So you can see the arm of the feeder boom holds that hook away from the burley cage so it can't get tangled. It can spin around any way it wants to. You've got no tangles. You've got burley falling out of that cage.
Would you fish that? Would you cast that into the centre of a river and let it sink to the bottom, or what would you do?
No, I would still be... You want to keep it up off the bottom.
Sorry, it's on a float.
So it's on a float.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be casting into the middle of a river. Not much hangs around in the middle of the river. Still look for structure. Now, coming out the top of the Goulburn there as it comes out of the pondage is quite wide. So keep it a little bit towards you. Those fish will cruise the sides of the banks. They won't necessarily sit in the middle of the river. But burley slowly coming out of that cage is going to give you the advantage over everyone else along that river.
You can use some reasonably long rods too if you want to.
Yeah, you can. Well, to be honest, perfect. An 8'6" nibble tip.
Yes, that's right.
Which we use commonly for whiting, blackfish.
Casting.
8'6" nibble tip. That will cast that no dramas. You won't need any split shot or things like that because there's a fair bit of weight there in the burley cage, and you've got the float too. So we'll put up a diagram of what this rig looks like on the Talking Fishing Facebook page from tomorrow, so you can see what it's all about, because it does look a little bit complicated and looks a bit complex, but I promise you it's not. But that is what's going to catch a 4 kilo rainbow trout.
Now, I'm presuming, I've got this bit of line in front of me here. I presume you've tied that rig out of 12-pound
fluorocarbon. It seems quite heavy for trout, but these are big fish and there's a lot of weight on this rig. So don't worry too much about your 4 pounds. You're going to find you're going to be casting off all your hard work here. They're big fish. 12 to 15 pound, I would go fluorocarbon. Again, there's going to be a lot of people on the banks.
Fluorocarbon versus a standard nylon or monofilament?
Yeah, so invisible underwater. That's the easiest way to explain it.
Not well fluorocarbon in that lighter poundages too.
That's right. And that instinct fluorocarbon's quite soft too, so it's easy to tie. It holds knots really well. I've got little beads all over that rig, but it was more to show you
the differences.
The difference and where things happen, but I would still run little red beads above there just for a little bit of something extra. But that light will get them to you, the burley will get them staying there, and you'll catch fish all day.
There you go.
That's the type of thing you can use up at Eildon off the back of a houseboat. Use a corner of a bank with a bit of flow that's going to push your feet out off a corner of a bank, all those sorts of places.
Change that hook there for a number 12 long shank that we showed you a couple of weeks back, and that becomes the ultimate garfish hook too.
That's right.
So it's quite a big thing. The feeder boom and the burley cage are something we get a little bit scared of because we don't quite understand how it works.
They're just those little gimmicks, aren't they? That they're on the wall of a tackle shop, and you just go,
you're not sure what
would I use them for? You know, so
and that's exactly what you would use it for. Like that's deadly.
If anyone wants an explanation of this, no one will be able to give it to you except Adam. So track him down tomorrow because. I know last week we did those little lights and Chris from Geelong was ringing in the morning going, "What the hell did you talk about last night? But we need someone because everyone's here." So
I tell you, the lights are going to change everything because we've seen it work with swordfish. Now we can actually use that technology for other species. Yeah. That'll be a big thing. Like, look at that. Tell me you wouldn't come and have a look at what's going on. We actually dropped that in the tank at work with the trout, and the rainbow couldn't resist it. Just sat there, was mesmerised by it. Yeah, and us too.
We've thrown a in the fish tank at work. We've got a rainbow trout, a brown trout, a brook trout, and an Atlantic a Chinook salmon.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So interesting to see the pecking order, isn't it?
Oh yeah, big time. It started off with the brookie.
The brookie was a bully.
Yeah, and now it's owned. Really? Now it's owned by the rainbow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go.
And the rainbow seems to be putting on a bit of weight.
Oh, he's in a good paddock.
He's got this tail hanging out of his mouth.
The Chinook's gone.
I can't talk anymore.
Rainbow's put on a bit of weight.
Yeah, there you go. Trelly, just on river flows, the Goulburn, so it's going to be heavily stocked on Saturday.
Yep.
How's the flow of the Goulburn? Are you up to speed with how that's flowing?
I came over on the way down here today, and at Seymour it's back down to a little bit above summer level.
Yep.
And it's cleared right up like last week.
So which is low level, is it? So
pretty low level. It's probably on the old scale a foot above sort of like low level.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yep.
So it's got a little bit of flow in it, but more importantly, it was very clear. So because we had that bit of rain a fortnight ago, the last couple of times I've been over there at Seymour, it was very, very dirty and run reasonably high, but it looks really good. I'm sure they've had a little bit of feedback and control over what's coming out of the bottom of Eildon for the event.
Well, you'd hope so for this weekend. They don't just massively drain Lake Eildon.
No, a lot of hard work and planning goes into this type of thing for us. So, no, it looks really, really good. Excellent.
Sounds like the river's going to be in pristine condition for this weekend of the trout opening, which does open Friday night at midnight and 1 minute later is Saturday. So the other thing is, boys, if you get onto Victorian Fisheries Authority's Facebook page or their website, vfa.vic.gov.au. They've got a really good, they've got all the information about trout opening, but they've also got a list of accommodation and they've got a list of places to eat.
Yes.
So really good homework done by the Victorian Fisheries Authority to get you out there enjoying trout fishing, but also enjoying something to eat, somewhere to stay, and a great family outdoors activity. Coming up next, Kramer's Mailbag. We'll talk to you soon on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wear the line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing.
Every day's a chance to drift away. Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See it down and tackle world today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing.
Now, just before mailbag, a message from Helen Semester says, a vegetarian who eats fish is known as a pectarian.
Pectarian.
There we go.
Helen's 6-year-old grandson is one. So there you go. Thank you, Helen. The president or secretary or the queen of Keysborough Angling Club.
Nice.
Held many titles. A what?
I must be a pork-tarian then.
Or a booze-tagarian. Yeah, maybe, but anyway. All right, let's get into it. Kramer's Mailbag and kick it off. Damien writes to us.
Damo.
And Damien says, now, we did mention the 7 tonnes last week, so this is not just written in now. Damien wrote, excellent show, fellas. 7 tonnes of ex-brood fish getting released into the Goulburn River, Eildon Pondage and surrounding areas. That's very awesome and epic. No need for me to go to New Zealand. No, got it all here. Yep, plenty of sheep around in there. So there's no need. No need. And gumboots. However, the Eildon area always gets the cream. Why? Vic Fish, any chance of spreading love to other popular rivers and lakes? I was thinking 4 or 5 tonnes for the opening of trout season in the Eildon area, which in my opinion is still awesome. And 100 to 200 kilos of ex-brood fish, per popular river, per lake around Victoria. That would give everyone a chance around most parts of Victoria to catch, release a trophy-sized trout. Your thoughts, fellas?
Oh, yeah, he's got a point.
He's got a point, but I think I can answer possibly why so many at Eildon, and it would be because of the big festival.
Yep.
They're trying to promote people to come to the festival.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, though.
Gathering.
And, yeah, it would be pretty cool. We should just put big fish everywhere.
Well, okay, but I'll give you a couple of problems with that. One is, up until only a few years ago, no rivers were stocked. Trout were only stocked in lakes.
Yep.
Right, so they kind of left rivers to hold wild populations.
Yep.
Yeah, unless there was a bushfire and they wanted to do a bit of recovery work or something. Pretty much, trout were only stocked in lakes. So what's happened with the Goulburn is that someone's finally realised that it's really just an irrigation drain.
Yeah.
But, well, it is.
Like,
I mean, let's face it, it's not a natural river. It's by
like
when
most.
they're either letting environmental flows out or trying to generate electricity for the 15 people that live at Eildon, Steve Villa and 14 mates. And
Cousins.
No, but in all seriousness. So they don't want to go stocking rivers all the way around the place.
So
with trophy fish.
What about then even if we... Ballarat, they're holding a big festival there.
Yep.
What is it, Lake Windaree?
Lake Windaree,
Would you put, you know, I don't know how big Lake Windaree is, but would you put a couple hundred kilos of 10-pound rainbows in there?
Well, so there's also a trout hatchery in Ballarat, which I think do stock Lake Windaree. So there's probably already some big ones. So then also you've got to understand Snobs Creek is very close. Yeah, it's right there. So and transferring those big fish, you can't just throw 1,000 of them in the back of a truck because their survivability is not as good as a little yearling or a little.
So logistics,
20 centimetres.
I suppose.
Logistics is
anyway, it's a good question.
It is
it's
great.
Good on your day,
It is great, but anyway, you're gonna have to drive to Eildon to Ballarat. Bad luck. All right, this one here is from Ross Scott. Now this is serious, boys.
Roscoe.
It says, "Hi David, viewed your program and your very correct assessment that the Gippsland Lakes are stuffed." He writes, and that the pros must be bought out. I was a foundation member of the Save the Gippsland Lakes Committee formed in the mid-1980s. When you were just a lad. Yeah, when we were what? 85. This bloke was on this. He was the head of the Gippsland Lakes Committee before you were born. And he's been going to the family property in Duck Arm since 1960 and has observed the lake's ecology incrementally going down the gurgler. All right?
Stuffed.
The rate of decline ramped up following the dredged deepening of the entrance in March 2008. Do you remember that? No. Ports reported to DSE until 1st of July 2010. In my battle to protect the lakes, he's been sacked, reappointed by the Environment Minister, only to be structured out shortly afterwards. Now he's saying there's a few things that you could possibly rehabilitate the lakes system with. Those things are return the lakes to brackish by reducing the dredged depth of the entrance. So, in other words, that...
Back up.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much so. Now, I don't know about that. He's got some figures here. Dredging permit states the navigable depth required is 3.5 metres.
Yes, that's right.
But it's been maintained at 5.5 metres. So what he's saying is return that to only 3.5 metres deep because that'll only let so much salt water in then.
Yeah.
Because it must be enormous. The more, out. So the more you deepen, it's a bit like Port Phillip Bay, the channel deepening. When they deepen, it's a lot more water in, a lot more water out. So he's saying fix that. The tidal speed through the entrance has increased from 3 knots to 7.4 knots.
Which that'll be because of the depth of the opening. It's like Port Phillip Bay.
The amount of ocean water entering the lakes, tide exchange, has massively increased, and the EPA's SEPPS, whatever that is, now classifies the lake as marine. So it's changed. It's not an estuary anymore, it's a marine water. So that's changed. Then he's saying, Charlie, you'd be into these, install submerged salinity barriers up the lake chain to hold back the saltwater wedge. The barriers can be constructed using sand-filled geotextile sausages. You make sausages, don't you?
Yeah, not textile.
So,
which can also develop into reefs.
Is the extra salt water the issue? I don't think.
No, I think it is. The brim like a bit of fresh water.
Yeah, but they do, but they find it. It's not like it's pure salt the whole way up.
No, well, anyway.
But anyway,
I won't keep going because it does go on for quite a bit.
That's like the Coorong in the bottom of the Murray, how they put barrages down there.
That's not bad, Ross. That's a good
I have to understand a little bit more to come back.
Ross has sent a fair bit of information to me, so I'll take 2 weeks annual leave and I'll read all that. And there's a fair bit there, though.
Yeah, no, that's...
So
he's got something back.
I think Ross
not bad.
I think Ross has got the plan to rehabilitate the Gippsland Lakes once the netters are out because they've stuffed it. I mean, you know, the netters are, 12.9 tonne we talked about the other week.
Yeah.
They were 152 tonne. Yeah. So what's next you're going to be? They've stuffed it.
But like Ross said, you know, a part of that could be the ecology or the actual makeup of the lakes changing over that period of time. So I'd be interested to sort of read up on a little bit of what you've got information there.
Yeah. But that doesn't help. But anyway, if you'd like to write into Kramer's mailbag, this is what you do.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
Now, I've got no idea what the boys behind the glass want to do. Do they want to run about the estuary perch story or not? I've got no idea.
After the break?
Well, let's do it now.
Okay, let's do it now.
I'll just look at it.
Do it now.
Do it now.
All right. So, on the weekend.
The perch search.
Yeah, did you know that?
I knew it. The
perch search was on.
Was it Bem River?
Let's show a bit of footy, or a few pictures anyway, and we'll talk over that. Last weekend, the Victorian Fisheries Authority were out with around 20 local fishers and competition anglers catching brood fish on the Marlow and Bem Rivers for their estuary perch breeding program called Perch Search.
Perch Search, yep.
The program involves capturing male and female estuary perch and flying them up to the hatchery in New South Wales, in Narooma, to reproduce. A lot of care and technology goes into keeping these fish healthy in transit, so they arrive at the hatchery in prime breeding condition. This year, 120 fish were caught. The biggest was 50 centimetres, the smallest was 20 centimetres, and the best 48 enjoyed the flight interstate. The offspring of these perch will be used to stock lakes and rivers for rec fishers to enjoy.
And Tony and Marlon Blackwood, you feature there with some cracking perch. They get amongst it. Yeah, they go up every year for the perch search. And Marlon, an absolute little young gun. You'll see him plenty of times throughout the season on Talking Fishing. Yeah, they get amongst it. They go up every year. I think it's a great little program and just something else that's going on to help secure stocks of a beautiful estuary fish.
They're up there with my all-time favourite. The tank and away they go.
There you go. What a great initiative.
It is awesome.
Wild fish to breed from.
It is awesome.
Coming up next, the hotspots, the all-important hotspots. I think we've got pretty good weather coming up this weekend too. See you soon. Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
G'day, Callan here from Paul Worslam's Tackle World Cranbourne. Supercharged batteries have been supplying maintenance-free marine batteries since 2001. The Seamaster Gold range is second to none, delivering superior starting power and reserve capacity. No need to top up with water, truly a fit and forget battery. With up to 2 years replacement warranty, you know you have quality. Your battery is your lifeline. Without it, you're dead in the water because it's bloody hard to push start. I've got a Seamaster battery in my boat. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And now the segment you've all been waiting for.
Hotspots, brought to you by Seamaster Batteries. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Now, just before we go, the all-important hotspots, the word through from someone who's in the know, boys, is that Lake Windaree will be stocked with ex-brood stock from Snobs Creek on Saturday. So there you go. Good to see that someone who knows the facts is watching the show.
Yeah, get your backside lakeside.
Yeah. That could be your slogan for next year. Charlie, you should be in advertising.
You reckon?
Well, no, because you've been, like your last 10 ads have been banned from TV. So let's kick it off. And the very first one, I tell you what, there is some monster calamari in the bays at the moment, and this calm weather is just bringing them on. Queenscliff, you can't go past there. I know it can be fairly tidal down there, but fish hard, fish deep.
Big jigs.
The big jigs, big calamari. It's going to be a great
gone
place, Queenscliff,
mad.
in the next month.
Yes, definitely.
Going to be absolutely monsters
really
down
good.
there. So,
Spring spawning
boys
spring.
down at Tackle World Geelong,
Yeah, they've been
Trelly, or
really
whatever you
good.
call it these days.
Yeah.
Trelly's
But,
Geelong even.
Yeah, no, they're getting heaps of reports. Like, they're just bagging out all the time. It's just all, land-based.
Yep.
You know, it's amazing what they're catching, land-based down there. It's been really, really good.
Yep.
Excellent.
Very good. If you want a snapper, early season snapper in Port Phillip Bay, it's always Mount Martha as the first to fire, I think.
I like this one.
Well, no, we saw one off Karen, but if you can head out towards where the ships turn there, 22 metres of water off Mount Martha, the snapper do turn up there, and we'll see, some big fish come from there in the next 2 weeks,
Pilchard?
I would say. Pilchards or silver whiting? Pilchards, I think, always good early, don't you?
Yeah, that and
softer baits.
Big squid head.
Yeah,
Best winter bait I've ever seen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just gets it done.
It'll be good. Let's head over to Western Port, and like you saw in Catch the Week, Tyre Bank, the capital
2 weeks
of
in a row.
calamari. Yeah, absolutely. Well, why would you go
fishing that
anywhere?
well.
I mean, we only want to put people on the fish.
Fishing that well.
We don't want to tell you somewhere else where the fish ain't biting, but they are
we don't want
biting
to be guessing them,
on the
Joey.
Tyre Bank.
We don't want to be guessing them,
Yeah.
just the facts.
We'll change it up next week, but Tyre Bank, there you go, is big. Now, snapper, if you want the early season snapper, I know they're all around, but we will see the queues start to occur.
Good old
And we
Coronella.
apologise to the people that live in Coronella. They're going to put up with queues at their boat ramp from 4 o'clock in the
Hours.
morning. Yeah, Coronella. If you want a snapper, go deep off Coronella.
Nice.
There you go.
Good spot.
Write
Nothing
that
more
down.
to say. It wouldn't be right if we didn't include the next hotspot as the Goulburn River. If you head up to Eildon, take the Maroondah Highway or whatever you want to go, whichever way you want to go. If you're coming from the other way, come the other way, go through
through
Alexandra,
Seymour, that's right.
yep, or whatever you want to do.
Yep.
But
Start
head
at
to the
Molesworth.
Goulburn River.
Yeah.
Work your way up, find a car park along that river.
Yep.
If you've got waders, because the water is running very, very cold at the moment.
It
Even
is.
had snow up at Lake Eildon last week.
Yeah,
Stevie
it's been
Vidler,
great.
he had a
Yeah.
few photos up on
Steve.
his social media there. That bit of snow up at Lake
One of the
Eildon and
best
Snobs
snow
Creek.
seasons ever, and they release
Yeah.
the water out of the bottom of Eildon. It only comes
so
out
she's
around
cold.
about sort of 6 to 8 degrees, I think.
Yeah. So wear some waders if you can, and be nice and warm. Pair of gloves and a
Long
beanie
johns
and
under your
long
legs.
johns. Yeah.
What do they call them,
who's-
John?
Long John. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it named after John somewhere?
Well, it's got to be, doesn't it?
Yeah. I
Oh,
guess.
Long John. I mean, what
It was after
department
Jack,
is
they'd be
in,
called
but
Long
anyway.
Jacks, wouldn't they?
That's right.
And it's not Long Jacks, it's Long Johns. So.
Next.
Yeah, next.
All right, and another little spot that I know the people in Newgie will hate me for saying this, but the Latrobe River
Get
at the
amongst
back
it.
of Newgie.
Get amongst
Newgie.
it.
Beautiful, cold,
Yeah,
fresh,
yeah.
pristine, crystal clear water will be flowing past Newgie on the weekend,
Yep.
and in amongst it some beautiful trout to be had. Nice place to pick up some nice browns along there.
Yeah, that's right. And very accessible to the beginner fly fisherman.
Yeah.
I was going to say fluff jacket then, but fly fishermen, because
Same
it's
thing.
nice big open plains to cast
Oh,
your
yes,
fly.
very
Yeah.
good for a tangle-less day.
Yeah, give me a spin
Yeah.
rod any day of
Yeah.
the week.
Yeah.
And the Warmies have been fishing good too, up at the top of the Port Phillip Bay there.
Yeah, not to mention
Taylor.
that. Taylor,
Yeah, so a couple
Snapper.
who didn't make the
Mulloway.
report, but some good reports from that.
Well, I mean, we did look at the weather during the break because I did say it was going to be good. It's a bit crappy on Saturday, but that's
right.
good because people need to head up the hills and catch their trout.
Yeah, it won't
Lot
matter
of
up on the
stuff.
trout
Back
streams.
Sunday, and also for those that are in only work 4-day weeks. Many of the people are on union agreements now, aren't they, for 4-day weeks?
Oh, probably.
And you go fishing, or either that or you take a sickie. Monday's going to be looking pretty good out in the bays as well. So
Scamo under
now, boys, just we talked about ads earlier on a nice bait rig that you mentioned. Other techniques for this time of year. My favourite is a little hard body, like the Jacksons, the trout tune in a rainbow trout pattern. I find deadly. But what other techniques are there for this time of year for trout fishing?
I think we've seen a massive resurgence in the old school spoons.
Yeah.
Whether they're
Spoons?
they're the new school Strike Pro spoons or the old Pegron Wonder Wobblers. There's this quite a large group of people going back to the old school and getting a lot of fish. We've seen all the new lures and the fish have seen them all too. It's doing the cycle. Spinners and spoons are coming back in a big way. Very, very easy to fish. If you want to get your kids into fishing with lures, they're easily the best. All you have to do is cast them as far as you can and wind them back in. I think we're going to see quite a lot of that stuff this season, and I think in those big fish too, More natural colours.
Yep.
Darker colours are coming out of the spawn close season. They'll be ready to feed up, whether they're feeding on minnow or insects. Yeah, dark to natural colours.
Really hard to beat the little minnows like the Rapala trouts and
those
little rebels. And remember, if you're working upstream, working trout, work upstream because the trout sit with their head upstream.
So you're saying cast upstream, bring your
lure back to you, or cross and bring your lure back to you.
Yep.
Because what's happening is that the trout sit behind structure because they'll sit in the softer water.
Yep.
No flow, and they look upstream. So if you're hunting downstream, you've got to cast a lot further downstream into pools. Upstream, you'll catch them basically at your feet. So try and work upstream.
And you can use the water to your advantage that way too. You can put a floating lure up into a run and let the natural flow of the river take it under that little tree that's then start working it once you get in there. It's amazing how many hits you'll get of those fish sitting in the backs.
Spinners
definitely.
Little black-bladed, lacquer black-bladed on deck
like a little beetle.
Yeah, a little beetle, like a little black beetle. They work really, really well.
I like I like the trout patterns.
Yeah, they
get the little dots of a trout. And
the choice in a spinner now is amazing. There's a lot to choose from. I like anything with a little. I like the red feathers hanging off the treble.
Yeah, we've got a few Hester.
Hesters, they got some good range of spinners there. Mapso are back on the market, so there's a bit going on there.
Exactly.
There you go. That's it for Talking Fishing. We hope you enjoyed the show. Next week, we are joined in the studio by Chloe Molloy, boys.
Can't wait.
Chloe Molloy is the Collingwood AFLW. She's from the Collingwood AFLW team. She's also the ambassador of Women in Recreational Fishing. Joining Chloe is Sky Kern, also from the Women in Recreational Fishing Network. It's a big show, and it's all about the perspective and it's just some of the thoughts about women in fishing. It's a big show. Until we see you next Tuesday on Talking Fishing. Stay safe on the water and enjoy your catch.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing.
Have a good weekend, Mr. Walker.
You too, son.